all is about sagas. So currently, if you are online, you're seeing the city hawker fighting for his life at KNH, having been shot at a close range by the police. I don't know if you missed this scene or you didn't have maybe time to look at it. I'll be showing very soon and then welcome you for reactions on the same. Now, from the reports that we've received lately, the police brutality has actually been unleashed in Kenya, not once, not twice, not thrice, and we do not know how long this will take. Now, the turn of events is that after the death of Ojwang, the police are not resting and they are not learning any lesson even from Mukwana. So what then? Should citizens now begin a war again with the police? Because for a long time, there have been a struggle to make sure that citizens have that unity with the police, you know. In one of the places in Central, there is a time the church went feeding the police just to show how they are the normal people, but it's no longer business as usual. I think many people, if you ask me, would think they are beasts. Cruel individuals who are out there roaming to shoot and kill anybody randomly, either on the streets or even in the police custody. So then the question is arrest a one-way ticket so that when you go, you may not come back? Is a confrontation with the police a ticket to heaven or hell? Those are the questions many people are asking here. Now let's turn to KNH and just see from the report that KTN is presenting, so that after that we can react to this. Now remember, the guy who has been shot again, unfortunately, is from Homa Bay. So today, of course, we saw Millie Ojambo standing in Parliament and talking about this. Maybe you can start from there before you can come to KNH. Let me just look for this, the video. Let me look for the video before I can come back to this. Meanwhile, welcome on board, and if you come live, please stick to the topic and let's have a chat and a reaction to this, whatever is happening in our country. Hello, Mehet. This is Kenya for us, and we are very worried about whatever is going about. We do not know then whether to respect the police, whether to fear them, or whether to, deal with them. And as I talk, there is a police lady who has been caught on camera. I don't know if you saw that. I'm going to look for all that I'm going to show you. Mahit Sakin from Tahis. Where is Tahis? Is it Turkey or it's a different place? Let me know. Tahis, Tahis, Tahis. 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 Because I know something to do with Tahish Airlines, but Tahis, I'm not sure about where it is. Maybe you can let me know. Okay, so let me just be digging for this information as I also chat with those who are coming on board. Oh, I've seen. Thank you for making me understand that. So Tahis is, I think you telling me Turkey because I can see that flag, or rather is it? No, is it? Oh, meanwhile, let me turn back to whatever I was presenting here. I wanted to show Millie Ojambo and what she said in Parliament before I can get back to KNH. Talking about the... Remember, the man who was shot was a random hawker on the streets, selling masks. You from Kenya. Kenya, that's the country we are really facing a lot of palaver here. The man, the mask seller in Parliament. So let's just check this and hear what she'll be talking about. Recep Evedik. Hey, what language is that? Let me show you something here.
Here's how I keep track of all my tasks.
The advertisements are too many sometimes on these YouTube streets, and you wonder what to do. But let's just look at this shortly before we proceed.
Honorable Millie, please. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Let's look at this.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity because I am a lady. And not despite me being a lady, because I am a lady. And I want to say that, Madam Speaker, it is actually wonderful that you are sitting as a speaker. And in this commission that we are doing the
Let's
side, Madam
listen
Speaker,
more.
but having said that, Madam Speaker, train ourselves. When you are given to him whom much is given, much is expected. So even if the public goes against you, please restrain yourself. I support. Honorable Mayaka.
I think that's not the script, that's not the video I wanted to play, but all of us know that Millie Ojambo stood in Parliament indicating that just another young man has been shot, and that was somebody from Homa Bay. Let me check on this one. I don't know whether it will be the right one.
Already high level of competence. Madam Speaker, it would be, whoops. Madam Speaker, it would be careless on my part if I don't say that I've just learned.
Yeah, this one.
But actually the young man that I'm talking about, I'm being told, is again from Homa Bay and from Suba. Madam Speaker, that is why we must always stand on principle. Can you imagine if I was speaking here carelessly, saying how it is nice for police to kill people? But I have said the police need to restrain themselves without knowing that this is a person from Suba. Madam Speaker, I want to repeat, it does not matter, and he was selling masks because people are demonstrating. I've actually watched that clip. It is totally reckless and irresponsible what that police officer has done. And they are doing...
Yeah, so right. Once you see this being discussed in Parliament, you should know that then things are not in order. Remember the last time Millie Ojambo reacted was when Ojwang was killed, and he was saying, must you snooze everyone? Like, must you be sniffing every other virtual line just because you are wherever you are? And they talk about you, then you react by sending people to arrest and shoot and kill and, molest and cruelly end lives. So that was the sad note at which Millie Ojambo indicated. Now here there is another. And so let's get back to that video where this event happened. I'll take you to NTV. And from there, expect more reactions. I can actually see a lot of, communication from Mehmet Sakin, but I'm not getting the language because I can't understand maybe what language that is. Yeah, so let's get back to the topic and let's see this one here. This one here. I want you to keenly look at what happened there.
Aliyeuliwa akiwa mikononi mwa polisi na kutaka naibu inspekta jenerali Eliud Lagat ajiuzulu wala sio kujiondoa.
Yeah, just look at that. See that?
Hata hivyo polisi wa kupambana na ghasia waliwarushia vitoa machozi waandamanaji hao na kuwatawanya. Katika video iliyosambaa sana kwenye mitandao ya kijamii ikionyesha maafisa wawili waliokuwa wamejihami wakikabiliana na mwanaume huyo anayedaiwa kuwa mchuuzi. Mtu huyo alikuwa amesimama nje ya jengo hili wakati polisi walianza kuwashambulia waandamanaji kwa risasi. Afisa mmoja akimpiga mtu huyo ngumi kana kwamba alikuwa mmoja waliokuwa wakiandamana, ila huyu alikuwa amejikinga kwenye jengo hili. Katika kujaribu kutoroka, afisa mmoja aliinua silaha yake akalenga na kumpiga risasi kichwani. Kisha baadaye mwanaume huyo alianguka chini akiwa bado ameshikilia pakiti ya barakoa aliyokuwa akiwauzia waandamanaji. Kisa hiki chote kikitokea machoni mwa wanahabari ambao walikuwa kinasa picha hizi. Ya kusikitisha, maafisa hao waliondoka wakielekea kule.
So look at that brutality, right? Consider that brutality. And that is why my headline is as seen there. The level of brutality here is extreme, looking at what is happening on the streets. The fact that protesters are not allowed to protest, does that guarantee the police to shoot somebody randomly and then they walk away? If you've read A Silent Song and other short stories, you understand there is one story known as an incident in the park. A hawker selling, then the counselors, they come, interview him a bit. They want bribe from him. He doesn't have it, so they pursue him. And when he tries to run, just because he does not want to go to court again and be threatened by the judge of castration, they shout that he's a thief and people lynch him. So now here it's not even the citizens conducting the lynching, but the police shooting a citizen in the eyes of the public. Yeah? Shooting a citizen in the eyes of the public. Let me just get another clip if you've not seen that clearly. I want you to get the gist of why I've titled that video that way, so that you don't think I'm just doing an extreme reaction here. So let's look at Nairobi. Okay. So let's get there. I'm trying to look for the exact one that will give me the very good view of this. No.
Nairobi Central Business District was once again the scene of demonstrations. 13 patients who had been injured at the referral facility. For the resignation of police Avenue, where a group of protesters had shows one officer slapping the unarmed man across the face as he tried to shield himself. The second officer struck him in the waist with the butt of a gun. In a desperate attempt to escape, the man turned to flee. However, one officer raised his weapon, aimed, and shot him in the head as he ran.
So this part, by the way, the man is known as Eli Joshua, the short man.
The man identified as Eli Joshua was clad in a blue jacket and black jeans. He was standing on the walkway as the two officers ran past, only to abruptly stop and confront him. The footage shows one officer slapping the unarmed man across the face as he tried to shield himself. The second officer struck him in the waist with the butt of a gun. In a desperate attempt to escape, the man turned to flee. However, one officer raised his weapon, aimed, and shot him in the head as he ran. Joshua collapsed to the ground, motionless, still clutching a packet of black face masks he was selling to the protesters. After firing the fatal shot, the officers walked away, heading in the direction.
Yeah, so you can see every other station and so many reactors actually reacting towards this. The brutality here is just beyond measure. Yeah. So again, now the beauty of this is that a lot of Gen Z are very fast in ensuring that they use AI and they get to see the exact face and find out who this officer is. And of course, from the reaction, or rather that fast move, they have identified the police officer. So my question is, what do you think the relationship will be between the citizens and the government? Now, before I go deep into whatever is going to happen, let's just look at what is happening at KNH and then move back to previous incident. Yeah, so after such an incident, of course, the individual was seen breathing. Somebody saved him and rushed him. Of course, it was the Red Cross, because they tried to really throw tear gas to an ambulance that had come to save, and so the Red Cross were the ones who decided to save him and take him to KNH. So when he arrived there, from what we hear, he's supposed to undergo an operation. Can you imagine now the life of this individual? Regardless of the fact that he's still breathing, I'm just imagining the kind of life he will now live after the current, accident, which is not an accident per se. It is a murder attempt because this guy would be dead and gone. So why did they have to shoot at somebody who was unarmed? He was not even protesting. He was on business. Such situations also are opportunities to these people who are hustling. Hawkers are the worst people. Their lives is the worst. And they try not to sit at home because they don't want to beg. However, in Kenya, when you go to where protests are, it's just like when you stay or you find yourself in an area where brew is being sold. Whether you are part of that or not, you'll be arrested and arraigned in court and you'll carry the charges of everything that is happening there. So from KNH, this is what we've got currently. You can see it's being reported just an hour ago. So this is what has been reported.
We are coming to you live from the Kenyatta National Hospital. We had come to check for an update on the hawker who was shot by police during the protests, of course, related to Albert Ojwang's death inquiry. And the update we have as of now is that as of 7 p.m., we had spoken to the communications office here at the Kenyatta National Hospital, and they ascertained that as at 7 p.m., the young adult who had been booked as a young adult was yet to get into surgery, but refuted the claims that had been published online by an array of people, and of course the reactions going around that the said young adult is dead. We have refuted those claims and said that as of 7 p.m., he was yet to be booked in for surgery. So that is the only update we have as of now. There are no family members on site, but we are hoping for any updates any time from now. But a spokesperson for National Police Service, Mushiri Nyaga, who said following the incident, which is the shooting of that young adult, following the incident, the Inspector General of Police has ordered for the immediate arrest and arraignment of the
Yeah, so remember protest about somebody who died in custody in very cruel circumstances. Again, another one has fallen. Even though he's not dead, but do you think his life will be normal again? Will he have the same life he had? That's probably not possible because you understand what it means by a gunshot getting into your head. Whether you go through surgery or not, you may not have the life you had before. That's for fact. Yeah. Now, let's go back to the horrific incidences before that. Traveling into the journey of Ojwang's death will leave you cold. The fact that the Deputy General Police, Eliud Lagat, has stepped down is not enough because now the citizens are demanding that he should just resign. That is the demand. Why? If he was the complainant against Ojwang, and it was clearly indicated that it's not actually the social media post, but there were headlines indicating that one of the police who is the richest is Lagat. And out of that, of course, it went viral, and there were attempts to find exactly the source of that information. And from somewhere in, was it Kisii? That is where the reality came out with one young man sharing the name of this man, Ojwang. And finally, they had to go for him and send the police from Central Police Station, and after that went for him. Now he left his home, and from information he was treated fairly by the police who got him from home. However, in arriving in Nairobi, whatever happened is a mystery. Now looking at this is Muhwana, the police constable, yes, of Central Police. Now he indicates that Talam OCS called him, indicating that he should go ahead and get some goons, some hard police to deal with the situation. Actually, to put some discipline into Ojwang's head.
There is a directive from DIG Lagat.
That is
you know him. They are officers from the DCI headquarters bringing a suspect here at 8 p.m. Tell the inmates to discipline him a bit. When Mukhwana raised concerns about what could go wrong, he says he was warned against questioning orders as a junior officer and told bluntly that disobedience could cost him. Later that night at
Yeah, so I'm asking one thing. On human ground, regardless of having been warned that something could happen, of course, whatever would happen would just be losing a job or something like that. Would you rather lose a job or kill somebody? You know, somebody's blood should be very something haunting. So regardless of Muhwana appearing to spill the beans and indicate that he was only forced into this, that just defines the police, you know, it defines the police force. Now let's go back to the aspect of Lagat. In another situation, when you look at the videos at Mbagathi, and the fact that they are indicating this man was taken from custody, and after that, he was mistreated somewhere in Karura Forest before he was finally brought dead. They wanted to book him in, and of course, I think the same constable refused to book him in. So what they did was to take him to Mbagathi. What? No. They first booked him in, of course. And then now they brought him out and they tried to go to Mbagathi. If you can see this video, I was looking at it and I was wondering what is happening in the police force anyway.
Body from the police van into the building where they only stayed for 10 minutes before his body was developing. Captures the police.
Let's start from here.
1:35
So I'll be just narrating and mute this so that you can see the pictures and understand the murder aspect I'm talking about here. Yeah, so as you can see, that is the police vehicle just stopping by the hospital, Mbagathi. So meanwhile, there's the body of Ojwang inside because he is already dead, of course. But these police, you can see those are police 1, 2, 3, right? They walk into hospital, they come, someone checks, another one goes in again, they come back. Then once they come back, what do they do? Of course, their police vehicle is still there. So another one again, they walk out, they walk in, they try to book him in, they walk out. Now they bring out that to pretend that he's still alive. Then they walk very fast. With that, they carry the body. Remember, that body is dead, walking very fast, running, literally. Then they bring in so the hospital reports brought in dead, unresponsive, no cardiac activity, entire body cold, swollen face, no spontaneous breathing, multiple bruises, right? That was the report from the hospital. Now the police come back with the body and walk out. That was 2:15. You can see that time there. And people are standing there surprised what's happening. The vehicle is driven in a bit. They pick again the body and head back to Central, right? So who can do this if you are not a murderer? So is it that the training in the police force Kenya trains these people to be murderers so that they are so brutal, you know? And this is not something we are learning new, because most times we engage with the police, we kind of fear them because even how they respond, how they talk, when you report a case, they are quick to want some bribe from you. They want to possibly even make you feel like this person should be tortured very quickly into telling the truth. They force the truth out of people. Sometimes they jump into beating. I don't know. I do not understand why in Kenya they did away with the, corporal punishment in schools. But when it comes to the police force, corporal punishment and still physical torture is still allowed. I don't know whether it's allowed or it's illegal, I don't know. But it is a practice that all of us know that in the hands of the police, they'll humiliate you verbally, physically. Now, physical torture has become very common to the extent of murder. I don't know. I would wish even the police come on this platform and argue out. Defend yourself that you are not brutal, that you are not a murder tool in Kenya. That even when you engage with people, you treat them like human beings. Now, let me look for the other video in which a lady police slapped a lady. Let me look for it. She literally has confidence to slap a lady among protesters. I don't know where they get such empowerment, because when you look at the police in America, or rather the developed world, this hardly happens, though we cannot forget the incident of police brutality that happened in America, where they killed, in fact, they kind of slaughtered a young man on the streets. But here, let me just show you this. The police slapping a lady, a protester lady. This is another video that shocked me today. Today, one day. Let me show you this one actually. Let me show you this one. In Mombasa. This one is in Mombasa. Yeah, so look at this push and pull. I don't know. A female cop captured slapping a female protester in Mombasa. Then they arrested and bundled her into the police vehicle. I don't know up to now what happened to that lady. I'm not very sure about what happened, because I have not seen comments so far to show what happened to her. But when you look at this kind of extrajudicial killings, the power, the force, you wonder what exactly is up in Kenya. It's just a saga. A great, great saga. So, we go back to what Gachagua told us. Gachagua, if you know, you know. Gachagua warning the police, huh? Against abiding to orders, huh? I thought the only above is God, but now in Kenya it turns out that orders from above mean something else. Yeah. Orders above in Kenya means something else. Let's just get here. You know, there are a lot of stations which record this, but I get to focus on specific. Advert here. Yeah, so of course, I wish the police would actually listen to this man, regardless of having stepped, been humiliated from his seat and then stepped aside. Currently, it's talking sense. People can be useless, but at some point, they become sensible from what they're sharing. And I think at this point, the police should have listened to this man because whatever he's telling them, actually, currently, when you see like the people like Mukhwana and the rest of the police are being sacrificed, and DG Lagat is being treated as if he's very innocent in the entire process when he's the main complainant, so which means he's the one who ordered, because when they talk about somebody above, and he has been mentioned various times, the newspapers were full of his name and what he had, like he had acquired, things out there with a lot of money, and so it was indicated that he has his crew that deliver about 100,000 to him daily. That was the key information that led to the death of this young man. Yeah. And it won't be a rest in the, I don't think it will ever be a rest in the conscience of Kenyans, ever. It will never. Just like the Gen Z protest and the killings happened, again, we won't forget. So let's listen to this man, because he has been talking a lot, and sometimes, given that he was once there, we can trust him. So let's listen to what he says here. This one is not English.
There is a God and a second chance.
Okay.
Tunapanga maneno yetu vizuri na iko sawa sawa. Usijali. Mambo iko vizuri. But I want leaders also to listen to the people. Listen to the people. Hao watu wanaikipia West moderator. Walipenda jiji Kariuki sana. Sana. Wakaburudi. Saa hii Governor Lorito Murithi. Hao watu wanaikipia where their heart is. Katubulo. Amri ya mkubwa. Unaenda, unapiga mtu, unaua. Mkubwa analindwa, wewe unakuwa sacrifice, unaenda kotini. DIG Lagat anakuwa protected by Senate, by National Assembly, by Ruto, by everybody. OCS na ni kabila yake, hako wabao.
Yeah, so guys, those are the dramas and the sagas that happen in Kenya, and they teach us a lot of things. And I wish that people would gather here so that we talk about this brutality, because they are warning us about some things that we are ignoring in Kenya. Yeah, really a lot. So I'll be ending here just because whatever I wanted to cover has been covered. But guys, there is a lot that is cooking, and there is a lot that is beyond our knowledge. But then, if I may ask at the end of the day, do you think the police are being sensible in whatever they are doing? What do you think will be boiling between citizens and the police? Do you think we'll trust them, What picture will be formed, like in the young kids, even the child of somebody like Ojwang, the family of somebody like Elisha, and anyone else who has gone through their hands of brutality? The lady who was slapped on camera, we can see that's a lady, that's a mother. So what will happen? Is respect earned or forced unto somebody? Maybe somebody will claim that they also deserve respect. They are human beings. Yeah, they are human, but let them be human. Let them be human. And for those who are also hiring goons to interfere with protests, I think that's a very wrong way, because this is how we are losing people in Kenya every day because of those such interferences. If people are protesting peacefully, let them do so without this interference of goons being hired and, causing a lot of fracas in the city. Yeah, so adios. Have a nice time.